Hi guys, my name is Asia. I am a relentless mom, a self-identified relentless feral mom, and I want to talk about why it is so important to be just unbelievably relentless and go for the things that you want. I've been dealing with a mysterious health issue that I just didn't understand what was going on since summer of 2021. It was right before I got pregnant with my third child, and I like suddenly gained 20 pounds. And I was just appalled, and I was like, I don't understand. How did this happen? What did I do? Did I start eating that much more? I don't think so. And when I got pregnant with my third child, I thought it would reset like my metabolism, because with my previous two pregnancies, I have three kids. With my previous two, I got pregnant and I had a baby, and then like just weight just whooshed right off of me. And it was great, right? And I was like, I work out, like I eat well, like that's probably why. That's what I attributed it to. That's what I thought, right? I didn't know, and I was happy with it. So what was I going to investigate it? No, it was great. And I decided that like it's fine, it's over with, it's going to be fixed, no problem. And so I gave birth, and almost immediately I expected, just like with my other two pregnancies, that my clothes would just zip right back up and everything would be great. And I never understood when people said they gain weight after pregnancy. I was under the impression that maybe, they stopped working out or they changed how they ate. And I always thought if you just like continue to work out throughout your pregnancy, why would you gain weight? Now, little did I know, there's so many other factors. There's so many hormonal things going on, but I didn't know that. I was privileged and I didn't even know it. I just thought this is my body and this is how all bodies work and blah, 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 right? Which is what we all think until shit happens to us. So I, I was gaining weight and I didn't understand. So what did I do naturally as like a very athletic person? I just doubled down on my workouts. So I just worked out more. And then I worked out more. And then I was like, maybe I'm not eating correctly, you know? And then I kind of was looking at that, and it was just getting worse and worse. And I didn't weigh myself because that first initial like huge 20-pound jump triggered the shit out of me. So I was not in a place to weigh myself. And I did decide to weigh myself, and I was like, even at 9 months pregnant, I did not weigh this much. With my first two pregnancies, with my third, I did not weigh myself. But with my other two, even at 9 months pregnant, I weighed less. So what is going on? And then I didn't weigh myself again for a long time. And again, when I weighed myself, it was like literally another 20-pound jump. I mean, I don't know what level of like calorie intake you would need to just go from like just these like 20-pound jumps, and all together it ended up being 50 pounds. I mean, that's insane without particularly changing my habits, with certainly not my eating habits. And so I knew something was wrong. Now, the standard narrative is you're getting older, you have kids, this is normal, blah. And I was like, there's nothing normal about this. Do not tell me that it's normal. It's not normal. How can you call it normal? How can you call it normal? And I went to my personal doctor, not person, whatever, or like general practitioner, whatever doctor that we go to with my kids. And she also sees adults. And I went to her, and she was like, I don't know, your work looks fine. And I was like, okay, it's not fine. And I went to some woo-woo practitioners, and I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. And I went to a functional medicine doctor. Now, this for sure sounded like the answer, right? Because functional medicine looks at the root cause and all these things, and it sounded amazing. And he took like vials and vials and vials of blood. He checked everything. Plus, there was some hormone tests that he sent to me, and I had to like do it at specific times of day, and then I had to send it back, and it was a whole thing. So, like, of course, he's gonna get. Oh, this like, okay. Of course, he's gonna get the results. Of course, he's gonna tell me the answer. And so we got the blood work back, and I was like, what is it? He's like, well, there's not like a single thing that's obvious. And I was like, oh, why not? But there are plenty of things we can work on. And it was like low vitamin D, um, some virus that apparently I read later on everybody has, apparently Epstein-Barr or something, some other like things that weren't like obvious. I don't know, low iron and like I don't know. It wasn't clear and it wasn't obvious. And then he sent me a prescription for a ton of supplements, like just a ton of supplements through some place that he probably got kickbacks from, which I didn't care because I was like, whatever, that's obviously what I need, right? I wanted to trust him. And 3 months later of taking this, I was like, well, nothing's changed. And he's like, well, I don't know then. And I'm like, okay, should we take a blood test? He's like, well, if the physical symptoms didn't change, then what's the point? And I was like, I don't understand. What do you mean? What's the point? Wouldn't it, maybe clinically, like in my blood, something is, improving, 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 and then physically it hasn't caught up yet. And he did not see a point. So that was incredibly disappointing. And he actually recommended I go on a ridiculously restrictive diet. And I was like, okay, how would that be sustainable? Will this be for the rest of my life? And he was like, yeah, it'll be really hard. And I was like, so how is that sustainable? He's like, yeah. And it was just, and the other part of this that I want to add is I am a huge proponent of what's called intuitive eating, like just such a big proponent of it. And intuitive eating, if you don't know what it is, was discovered or like talked about at first in 1995. And there's been just decades of research. It's truly interesting and amazing. And I highly recommend you look it up. But you fix your relationship with food. You're looking internally, am I hungry? Am I full? Um, like not what does this say, what does that say, and you take away shame around certain foods and you stop moralizing food, so you're no longer saying this is good food, this is bad food, it's all just food. And what happens when you do that and you give yourself permission to eat everything and anything, and what most people think is going to happen is you're going to sit there eating like chips and popcorn and pizza all day, is not at all that. Maybe at first, because at first you're kind of like, oh my God, I have been depriving myself for so long, and you go crazy. But after that initial honeymoon phase, they call it, um, things start kind of evening out. And like those foods that had such a pull on you are no longer that interesting to you. So, like sweets and pizza and cupcakes and whatever, they're just food. Like they are not a big deal anymore. And so for me, intuitive eating totally stopped me from binge eating. I used to do a very common cycle, which is restrict, binge, and it's just like this like perpetual cycle that we get into. And I thought I have a sweets craving. And before I ever heard the word food noise, I would totally have food noise, not knowing what that's called and thinking something's wrong with me. And intuitive eating totally, I mean, totally got rid of that. So I have a really great relationship with food in the sense that I don't think about it all the time. I'm hungry, I eat. I'm full, I stop. Like I don't crave sweets. I don't eat fast food. I don't crave it. Like nothing is off limits. So it's very easy for me to eat a so-called healthy diet in the sense that like, pretty well balanced and protein and fiber and all those things. So I didn't want to change that. And a restrictive diet would certainly change that, where I would be back on that binge restrict cycle. I've been there. I've done that for many, many years of my life. So I was certainly not jumping at that opportunity. Oh, and he did find one thing, and that was that I have high insulin. And I said, how can I have a high insulin? Like, hello, I'm a freaking athlete. I work out all the time. I eat so well. And he was like, yeah, it's probably because you gained weight. Well, obviously, he did not help me. So I kept on looking, I kept on looking, I kept on looking. And finally, I went to Alara Health, which is an online practice, and they specialize in women's health hormones. And finally, I got an answer. And it's just like my mind is blown that I got an answer that it took me so long. I did not get an answer until November 2024. So from like June 2021 to November 2024, I had no idea what was going on with my body. And what it turns out is I do have insulin resistance. And it's not because I gained weight, it's the opposite. Insulin resistance causes weight gain. And I have insulin resistance because I have PCOS, which just like blew my mind. I had, oh, it just, it explains so many things. I've had irregular cycles, and I had like a whole thing in high school where my period went missing, and like I lost weight then, and it just explained it all. And I had a feeling that these two things were connected. What happened in high school, what's happening now. And I didn't know and I didn't understand, and nobody could put it together. And I'm just like, wow. And so I started treatment immediately, and I've been trying to figure out, like, the weight has not come off yet. And so I'm still figuring out that piece of the puzzle. But what does this lead us to believe? That you gotta be motherfucking relentless, because nobody was gonna hand me that answer. And the thing about insulin resistance is if you don't treat it, years down the line, what's gonna happen? And okay, one second, let me back up. Glucose is usually what doctors test, not insulin. Glucose. And my glucose was fine because my body was pumping out all the insulin to clean up the glucose out of my bloodstream. And what happens is it looks like your glucose is normal while silently there's something going on underneath. And then years down the line, it turns into type 2 diabetes. It turns into like inflammation and like cardiovascular problems and dementia. And it's just like, oh my God, I could have just accepted the narrative that this is normal. And that scares the shit out of me that so many people do. And as I read about this, I was like, wait a minute. So why do people think that people just gain weight after pregnancy? Could it be that they're all insulin resistant? And indeed, that is what happens to a lot of women. And evolutionarily, it made sense. It protected us in times of starvation, but in times of not starvation, it really hurts us. And like we are just settling for the narrative of, eh, I'm getting older, my metabolism, I had kids. No, oh my God, like, no. My relentless search literally saved my life. Literally saved my life. And what does that have to do with coaching and motherhood and the Feral Mom Society? Literally everything. Because I also am not a mom that's like, eh, this is parenthood. It's just hard. Let's accept it. It is what it is. Like, it is what you say it is. And yes, there are hard things, but I always think, but there's gotta be another way. I do not accept just being, just floating around in the wind. Like, that's what they said. It's gonna be hard. So it's hard. So, yeah, I lost myself to motherhood. I don't have time to shower. It is what it is. No, it's not what it is. Like, that is not the culture that we have here in this space, the Pharaoh Mom Society. The whole point of being a Pharaoh mom is to reject the narrative. It's no longer, oh, that's just how it is. No, oh my God, please don't say that. If you are it is what it is person, that's fine. But, I'm going to have to show you the door. We are not here to accept mediocrity. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud of my resilience. I'm so proud of my determination to figure out what happened. And it's like, I can't believe that I could have been sucked into it just is that way. You've had 3 kids. It's so normal. Or like people will be like, oh, you're a mom. You must have less time to work out. Oh my God, I work out 10 times more than I ever did. Are you kidding me? Like, it's not my lack of workouts. It's not my lack of discipline. Or the other thing that people will try to say is like, oh, you must have really like started eating crap. No, I didn't. So stop. Stop trying to blame me. Stop trying to blame yourself. Like there is an issue going on and you know it and you feel it. And it's true for motherhood as well. You know it's not supposed to be like this. Yes, it's challenging and you have a lot less time and you have a lot more responsibilities, but it wasn't meant to be this hard. And you know that and you feel it in your bones. And that's why you're here. Like this video found you for some reason. And it's because it is not okay. You are not okay with it. I know I'm not okay with it. And I know for sure not everybody is okay with it. And yeah, we all come and we talk and we're like, hey, how are you? I'm so tired. And like, I get that. And like, yeah, we are tired. And it's okay to vent, but don't pretend like it's okay because it's not. It's okay to be tired sometimes, but when you are the only person in your household responsible, that load was never meant to be on you. When you totally forget who you are, when you totally forget all of your interests and your hobbies and all you're interested in, or no, I should say your only identity is being a mom, like you know for a fact that's not for you. You know it, I know it, I think we all secretly know it, but that fake acceptance, that's not acceptance, that's resignation. That's like, yeah, there's nothing to do. So, that's just being like resigned. There's a big difference between true acceptance, like I accept that this is hard. I'm not going to fight it and create more suffering. And I'm going to seek solutions. Like that would be acceptance, not like this resignation of like, "Hmm, okay, I guess there's nothing to do here." So, no, 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 no. That's what this place is. This place on the internet, this corner of the internet. This is the Feral Mom Society. This is where we let loose. This is where we pursue answers, we pursue alternatives, and we figure it the fuck out together. We are not here to be like, it's fine. It's not fine unless you are actually fine. And by fine, I mean not like in total survival mode. I could talk about this probably for like 500 hours straight. I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope that I trust that this video found the right people, but this is what we're here for. If you want more, check out the description box below. I'm going to have some links there, and I'll see you guys soon.